Harvested. The hidden economy where you're not the customer. You're the crop. Welcome to Exploring Grays, the YouTube channel where we dive into the murky waters of ethics in technology and society. I'm Michael, and I'll be your guide through the complex world of moral ambiguity. You wake up and check the weather. You've just made Google 3 cents. You search for nearby restaurants. 7 cents. You browse Facebook for 10 minutes. 45 cents. You watch 3 YouTube videos. $1.20. You online shop but abandon your cart. $2.50. By bedtime, you've generated over $40 worth of behavioral data that tech companies bought for practically nothing and sold for astronomical profits. Last year alone, Facebook made $118 billion from selling your data. Google made $257 billion. Amazon? $469 billion. Your digital life isn't just convenient, it's the raw material that built some of the largest companies in human history. Welcome to surveillance capitalism, where every click is currency, every search is a commodity, and your private thoughts are a public marketplace. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some scholars call this the most dangerous threat to human agency since the atomic bomb. The business model is elegantly simple and deeply troubling. Tech companies provide free services, search, social media, email. You pay with behavioral data instead of money. This data predicts and influences your future behavior. Advertisers and others pay premium prices for access to you. But it's not just about ads anymore. Your data determines your insurance premiums, your credit score, your job prospects, your news feed, your political exposure, even your romantic possibilities. The average person has 1,500 data points collected about them every day. By 2025, each person will generate approximately 4,909 gigabytes of data annually. That's more than 80 gigabytes every day, the equivalent of filming high-definition video for 24 hours straight. Let's trace how your data becomes profit. Layer 1. Direct collection. Every app, website, and device collects explicit data: your age, location, preferences, purchases. This seems obvious and controllable. But this is just the surface. Layer 2. Behavioral surplus. Beyond what's needed for service, companies harvest behavioral surplus: how long you hover over photos, which words you delete before sending messages, the times you're most emotionally vulnerable. This shadow data often reveals more than what you consciously share. Layer 3. Predictive products. This surplus gets transformed into sophisticated models predicting your future behavior, not just what you might buy, but how you'll vote, when you'll be lonely, what might break your willpower. These predictions become products sold to the highest bidder. Shoshana Zuboff, who coined the term surveillance capitalism, describes this as the theft of human experience. We're not just users of technology, we're mines of behavioral data being commercially extracted without our true consent. Shocking examples of how deep the harvesting goes. 1. Emotion detection. Facebook can detect when you're feeling insecure, overwhelmed, or defeated based on status updates and browsing patterns. These vulnerable moments become premium selling opportunities. 2. Shadow profiles. Companies create profiles of non-users through mentions by friends, cross-referenced data, and behavioral inference. Over 1.5 billion shadow profiles exist for people who never agreed to data collection. 3. Microphone access. While companies deny actively listening, analysis shows eerily accurate ads following verbal conversations. Whether through direct listening or predictive correlation, the effect is the same. 4. Emotional manipulation. Netflix knows psychological analysis shows sad viewers watch more TV. Their algorithm deliberately selects content to maintain certain emotional states for maximum viewing time. Last week, I deleted my browsing history and social media, attempting a digital cleanse. Within 72 hours, I noticed something unsettling. The internet had become aggressively boring and irrelevant. The personalization I'd taken for granted wasn't just convenience, it was an invisible dependency. I found myself missing the uncanny accuracy of recommendations, feeling oddly disconnected when ads didn't speak to my interests. I realized my data wasn't just being harvested, it was being weaponized to create a digital environment so perfectly tailored that escaping it felt like sensory deprivation. This is the dark genius of surveillance capitalism. It makes its own necessity invisible, turning monitoring into a feature rather than a flaw. Accelerating into manipulation territory. The endgame of surveillance capitalism extends beyond advertising. Behavior futures markets. Companies don't just predict behavior, they buy and sell guarantees of future behavior. Facebook can promise advertisers it will change 10,000 people's shopping habits this month. Insurance redlining. Health insurers buy social media data to identify high-risk individuals before they apply for coverage. Your Facebook photos from last spring break might cost you thousands in premiums. Political micro-targeting. The same techniques that sell products influence elections. Cambridge Analytica showed how behavioral data can be weaponized to suppress votes, amplify emotions, and manipulate democracy itself. Social credit systems. China's system is explicit, but algorithmic scoring of citizen behavior is emerging everywhere, determining who gets loans, jobs, housing, and increasingly, basic services. We're approaching what researcher Jaron Lanier calls digital feudalism, where platform owners control not just information, but human opportunity and agency itself. I face a constant internal conflict about privacy. I'm genuinely terrified by surveillance capitalism's implications, yet I use Gmail, Google Maps, and various social platforms daily. The hypocrisy isn't lost on me, but the practical alternatives feel impossible. This reveals surveillance capitalism's most insidious trap. It's engineered to be simultaneously alarming and irresistible. Like someone addicted to a poison that also soothes their symptoms, we're caught in a cycle where the problem and the solution come from the same source. The real tragedy? This isn't stupidity or weakness. It's a result of systems designed by some of the brightest minds in human history specifically to create this addiction. Many of you shared concerns about digital privacy in our previous videos. I'd love to know, have you tried disconnecting from major tech platforms? What was the hardest part? The most revealing part? And here's the question that keeps me up at night. If these free services aren't really free, what's the true cost we're paying? Share your insights below. The data extraction chain. Let's visualize how you become a data crop. Raw material, your daily activities. Collection infrastructure, apps, devices, sensors. Refinement process, algorithms, AI analysis. Behavioral products, predictions, profiles, patterns. Market sales, advertisers, insurers, employers, governments. Control execution, targeted content, dynamic pricing, opportunity gating. Each layer adds value to companies while potentially removing agency from you. You're not just data, you're a renewable resource being cultivated for continuous yield. Here's a transformative insight. Surveillance capitalism doesn't just predict behavior, it modifies reality to fulfill its predictions. This creates what researchers call synthetic experience. Google doesn't just predict you'll buy running shoes based on your searches. It adjusts ad placement, search results, and even email timing to make you more likely to buy. The prediction becomes self-fulfilling. This is unprecedented in human history. A system that can observe human behavior, predict future actions, and subtly alter reality to ensure those predictions come true. We've created machines that don't just harvest human experience, they reshape it. I know facing surveillance capitalism feels overwhelming. Let's examine different perspectives on this complex issue. The tech industry perspective. Surveillance capitalism funds innovation and provides valuable services at no direct cost. Personalization improves user experience. Targeted advertising is more relevant and efficient. Alternative models might stifle technological progress. The privacy advocate perspective. This system represents the greatest erosion of personal autonomy in human history. The free model isn't free, it's predatory. Alternative funding models, subscriptions, regulations, preserve human agency while allowing innovation. The behavioral economist perspective. Humans are notoriously bad at valuing future privacy against present convenience. Regulatory intervention is needed to protect people from their own short-term thinking. The true costs of data sharing are hidden and delayed. The corporate critical theory perspective, surveillance capitalism represents a fundamental shift in power from labor to capital. Data is the new oil, but unlike oil workers, data subjects receive no compensation. This is digital colonialism on a global scale. Imagine discovering every decision you thought was freely made was actually influenced by an algorithm. That spontaneous weekend trip? Prompted by travel ads timed for your stress levels. The career change? Influenced by job listings fed to you based on behavioral patterns. The relationship that ended? Perhaps affected by emotional states detected in your digital activity. The most unsettling aspect isn't that this is happening, it's that you'll never know which of your decisions were truly yours and which were shaped by invisible forces designed to extract maximum value from your behavior. In our next video, we'll explore the morality of meat, lab-grown alternatives versus traditional farming. We'll examine how biotechnology is challenging our relationship with food, ethics, and nature itself. We'll investigate whether lab-grown meat represents progress or a new form of industrial agriculture that might threaten traditional farming communities. Is cellular meat the ethical choice, or does it hide its own environmental and social costs? And what does it mean for our connection to the food chain when meat can be grown without animals? The future of digital privacy and surveillance capitalism requires collective action. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What data would you never be willing to share, regardless of convenience? How much would you pay for truly private versions of services you use daily? Do you believe ethical alternatives to surveillance capitalism are possible? What regulations would actually protect people without stifling innovation? Your perspectives on balancing privacy, convenience, and progress are crucial for shaping this conversation. As we wrestle with surveillance capitalism, we face a profound question. In an age where observation changes behavior, where prediction shapes reality, and where data extraction fuels the global economy, what does human freedom even mean? Perhaps the real threat isn't that machines know us too well, but that we might stop knowing ourselves at all. When your preferences are predicted, your emotions are detected, and your decisions are influenced from the shadows, where does the algorithm end and the authentic self begin? The most valuable thing you own isn't your data, it's your ability to think, choose, and exist without being shaped by constant observation. And that might be the one thing no amount of data can ever fully capture or control. This is the Exploring Grays channel, questioning the cost of convenience in the digital age. Remember to value privacy, question surveillance, and think critically about who benefits when everything you do becomes data. Please like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.